I've always known that it's very important for you to identify your customer. But Tool Thinker, the reason it's called Tool Thinker is because we had a solution which was frameworks, and we were pushing frameworks as a solution for entrepreneurs. We didn't really know who we were targeting yet. After a while, we broke it down to, okay, let's dig a little bit deeper. Who do we really want to target here? Then when we went down to the startup founder, everything started to change.
Oh, wow.
Like everything else about business and startups started to make sense. Until you identify who your real customer is, you're not really where you should be as a startup.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I'll show you what I mean. So when you identify, let's say, a startup founder, and then we even went deeper and we said, okay, a solo startup founder. Once you said that, now you start to think about what are the jobs that that person or customer would hire your product for. And the reason I say it that way, there's a framework called Jobs to Be Done, right? And what that framework does is it tries to identify why did this customer hire this product to solve this job.
Wow.
That's why it's called Jobs to Be Done.
Is that a book, or is that in your book, or where did you put that?
It's a framework. Like a lot of people write about it, and there are people that has just built a career around Jobs to Be Done. It's in my book too. Yes. So say for example, someone goes to Tim Hortons to buy a coffee, right?
Tim Hortons.
Yeah. Or yeah. Let's
Timmy's,
say Starbucks. I'm in
Starbucks.
Canada. I'm Canadian. So they go to Starbucks to buy a coffee, right?
Yeah.
When they go to buy that coffee, why did they buy that coffee? That coffee is solving a job for them.
Yeah.
Maybe they wanna wake up in the morning because they have a meeting coming up at 8:00 and it wakes them up in the morning. Maybe they went there because they didn't want the meeting to be the first conversation that they had. So they went to talk to somebody at Starbucks. Maybe they didn't want to make a coffee because it slows them down. They have to wake up earlier to make that coffee. So Starbucks has that coffee already made. So why not just grab that coffee and sleep a little bit longer? But that product is solving a job for that customer. And once you understand what the product is doing, now you can create alternative solutions.
I gotta read that book, Jobs to Be Done, man. That's a good one.
Jobs to Be Done.
Tim Hortons.
So it's super important. So when I started to identify the startup founder as my customer, immediately I started to see what are the jobs that they have. And you can just type it in even like ChatGPT and say, hey, ChatGPT, what kind of job is this customer paying for right now? And it will list all the jobs that they're paying for currently. And you can choose to solve any one of those problems that that customer has. And you can start a business, as well as you can be innovative and dig a little bit deeper and find unique jobs that nobody is solving yet. And you can build a business to solve that job. But you can't do any of those things until you realize your customer and you realize their problem. Because the business is just a solution to a problem. All of a sudden, your mission for your business comes alive. Because once you identify the job, then now your mission is to solve that job. Your mission is to solve that problem that that customer has. Right?
Yeah.
So
100%.
your mission for your business also gets created down there.
That's a great way to put that. Yeah, there's not all this soul searching you have to do. They try to make you do.
And I'm telling you, everything else starts to make sense. Everything else starts to make sense. I can tell people exactly how to start a business. I can tell a startup founder or an aspiring startup founder exactly what they should be doing. Right? What makes you happy? What you find yourself doing all the time, even when you're not at work, you're willing to do it for free. You look in that area, you find a problem that needs to be solved. It could be your problem. It could be somebody else that you see suffering from that problem, right? Once you identify the problem, it just gives you an area. You still need to identify your customer. Once you use a framework like jobs to be done or whichever one takes you to the customer and you have identified that customer, you identify what jobs need to be done and you create a solution for it. That's your business. It's as easy as that. That's your
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
Everything
yeah.
else after that is really designing the solution, showing it to the customer, getting feedback from the customer
Yeah.
to say, hey, does this work? Are you willing to pay for this? No? Okay. You keep fine tuning it
Yeah.
until they're willing to pay for it, right? When
Yeah.
they're willing to pay for it, then you have a business.